Our SOL Rally Barbados 2016 coverage continues with 3 days of speed on the Bajan stages. We've covered day 1 and some of day 2. Here's a quick recap. SOL Rally Barbados started with two 2.5-kilometer super special stages at Bushy Park. The racing in earnest began on day 2 with the action moving to the north of the island, with 12 additional stages to be completed and approximately 68.1 competitive kilometers to be covered. Here are some of the class leaders before we tackle the third and final day. In Modified 2, Jamal Brathwaite was the clear leader. The quick and nimble Neil Corbin led Modified 1. Group B, which does not classify as an overall class finisher, was led by Andrew Costin Hurley. Super Modified 3 was led by Rhett Watson. Roger Mears was still holding on to the Super Modified 2 lead. Dansky in the Peugeot getting a bit too much onto the grass at the popular Vaucluse corner. Day 2 took the competitors into the night, and light pods had to be used for the last 2 stages of the day. Heading into the final day, Elfyn Evans was in 3rd place, 45 seconds behind the leader. 2nd place was Simon John Joseph, who was about 36 seconds off the leader. Leading the rally as it headed south were Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton and Michael Fennell Jr. Here is confirmation of the top 4 positions. Roger Skeet chasing Elfyn Evans as Jeffrey Panton holds on to the lead, which is now up to over 30 seconds from Simon John Joseph. Welcome back to SOL Rally Barbados. On the final day, service was at Carrington Factory as the competitors prepared for 51.6 competitive stage kilometers over 3 venues, which were the Drax Hall 6-kilometer stage, Malvern, which was 5.4 kilometers long, and Padmore Village, which was about 5.8 kilometers long.
Morning, Elfyn. You're 3rd on day 3 of SOL Rally Barbados. What's the plan?
Morning. Yeah, I guess it'll just be to keep that position. You know, the guys in the World Rally Cars obviously have more speed, so you know, we're not going to catch the guys in front unless they have a problem. So we have to try and keep the guys behind and do what we can today to finish the. Yeah, the stages have been good. Okay, it would be better if they were a little bit longer, but hey, you know, it's still all good.
SOL Rally Barbados day 3, and you're the current leader. How does it feel?
Feels good. It doesn't take any pressure off, unfortunately. But yesterday was a tough day. In the morning, we struggled to put any time on Simon. Unfortunately, Simon was putting time on us. And then after he made a couple of mistakes, he was pushing really hard. And then after lunchtime, we were able to put back some time on him. So we have a little cushion going into today, and it's just to try and maintain that.
Josh Reed, we're here on day 3 of SOL Rally Barbados, and you've been having a battle with Roger Mears, the top 2-wheel drive class. How has it been?
Yeah, it's been going really good. You know, we came with the intention of having a clean, consistent rally, and that's what we've done so far. We've been able to set some consistent times, and I mean, the pace has been hot, you know, but really it's about not making a mistake right now, just keeping it on the road, keeping it going, and that's what our plan is. I knew it was going to be a battle. It's not over yet, and I definitely feel like I performed in terms of what I am capable of on my car. I definitely think I put it to the limit yesterday, so I feel good about it. So I want to just keep on that pace now, and everybody got to be on it, because if anybody flinches or slips, you know, somebody might be passed out.
The spectators make up a very important part of SOL Rally Barbados. Still at it, clearing the stages in spectacular fashion, was Ryan Wood in Cars 0. After the first 2 days, the cars were reseated, with the fastest hitting the sun-kissed roads of Barbados first. Refreshed and refueled, Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton was on the charge to maintain his lead. Unlike the tight, twisty and technical stages on day 2, day 3 saw some fast and flowing stages which allowed some of the weapons of speed to stretch out their legs and show their true speed. Guided by his longtime co-driver Michael Fennell Jr., there was no time to enjoy the scenery, as Panton posted the second fastest time on 2 of the stages on the opening loop. Frenchman Simon John Joseph clearly has it in him to challenge Jeffrey Panton, but as he completed the first stage of the final day, there was a clear problem with his Ford Focus, and he retired from the rest of the day with a mechanical problem, and that was the end of his rally. With Simon John Joseph forced into retirement, Wales' Elfyn Evans inherited second place. However, in the Ford Fiesta R5, Evans was leaking massive chunks of time to the World Rally cars over the faster stages of the third day. Evans was a mere 15 seconds ahead of Skeet at the start of the day. By the end of stage 15 at Drax Hall, Evans was now only 4 seconds ahead of Roger Skeet. Roger Skeet began the day in emphatic style, winning the opening stage. Though he had inherited second place and was now driving impressively, his battle was now well and truly on to keep his place in the overall standings. It has been an incredible performance from the Barbados Sheriff, who shot his way impressively through the stages as he has the hammer down. Skeet won all 3 stages in the opening loop and was now a mere 4 seconds adrift of Elfyn Evans in second. After the Sheriff won the first 2 stages to take almost 10 seconds out of Evans' advantage, Evans tried to respond on stage 17, but was still behind Skeet as he had to settle for second place on the stage. The UK's Rob Swan was 4th after the retirement of Simon John Joseph. Though out of striking distance of the 3rd place Roger Skeet, he was still in the battle to keep his overall place with the 2-wheel drive of Roger Mears snapping at his heels. Persons need to adhere to the marshals when the stages are closed. Dead wrong, buddy. Roger Mears moved up a place after stage 17 as it all went wrong for Rob Swan, and he clocked the slowest overall time on the final stage of the loop. After a small scare the day before, Mears started off the 3rd day a bit cautious, but received a wake-up call when his rival Josh Reed went 4 seconds faster than he did. Mears picked up the pace, but still it was Josh Reed who clocked the fastest times ahead of him on stage 15, 16 and 17. Josh Reed may have been the winner of the opening loop in the Battle of the Starlets, but Roger Mears had only been mere split seconds off of him after stage 15. Here we see him passing Rob Swan, who went off earlier on the stage. However, Roger Mears managed to increase his advantage on Josh Reed by 2 seconds as he won stages 18 and 19. United Kingdom's Roger Duckworth was leading WRC 2 as the rally headed to the lunch halt after stage 20. His lead was over 3 minutes. Kevin Proctor had started the morning in 9th place and was slowly but surely moving up the leaderboard. By the lunch halt, he had piloted his Ford Fiesta R5 into 6th place. Looking to put the mechanical gremlins of the first 2 days behind him, Dane Skeet was posting sometimes in the top 10 and moved up the order by 2 places into 8th. Skeet had a broken bolt in the back suspension and one that had backed off. As a result, his crew had to continually tighten the bolt during the rally. Red Watson had been leading Super Modified 3, but an oil cooler line broke on the Padmore Village stage. He was flying towards the triangle. As a result, oil was dumped on the road, and even though he is braking, the car just would not stop. Here we see the black line of oil being left on the road, and he was forced to retire after stage 17.
But no, Red Watson is pulling off. He's not following.
Roger Hill was second in WRC2 in his Toyota Corolla, but was continuing to slip further behind the class leader with every passing stage. By the lunch halt, Roger Hill was 10th overall and just under 3 minutes adrift of the class leader, Roger Duckworth. Ireland's Jim McKenna was 13th overall and 5th in the very potent Super Modified 2 class in his Ford Escort Mark II. Mark Thompson having a near miss at the popular Malvern Wall and was now the new Group N leader by lunch. Having a problem on day 2, Andrew Jones no longer had a chance at a podium place in the class and was letting the car hang out like the old days. Edward Corbin was entertaining and still leading Super Modified 1 as he sat just outside the overall top 20. Chris Elliott in the BMW was 26th overall and leader of Group B1. Turks and Caicos' Paul Horton was still fighting for a podium finish in Modified 2. Here the marshals try to get up some of the oil after Red Watson's pass. Historic 2 leader Raymond Clough has no problems with the sand or the oil.
A very neat 50 who was 4th in Group N overnight will move up.
Harold Morley was 4th in Group N and was 3rd by the lunch halt, but just manages to clip this piece of Barbados. The blue machine of Justin Campbell had moved up into the Super Modified 3 lead after the demise of Red Watson. David St. Hill was now 2nd in the Super Modified 3 class and just over 30 seconds behind Justin Campbell, who was leading. The Ford Escort Mark II, responding to the request of the right foot of Neil Armstrong. Armstrong was 4th in the class at lunch and 12th overall. Wills Gary and Linda Thomas were still in the overall hunt, and this was one of the Escort Mark IIs that the Bajan crowd fancied. Simon May and Melissa Wheeler were burning the wheels of this Ford Escort Mark II in the historic 2 group.
Hi, I'm Elfyn Evans. You're watching Race 1.
You are watching Race 1.
Welcome back to SOL Rally Barbados. All Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton had to do now was to manage his massive lead at the front of SOL Rally Barbados. However, for Elfyn Evans, he could not hold on to his second place as local driver Roger Skeet was on an incredible charge. Evans slipped into third, well over a minute ahead of the fourth place crew. Roger Skeet had won all but one stage before lunch as he went like a laser-guided missile through the stages. He continued to win stage after stage and knew there could be no letting up as Elfyn Evans would be eager to regain his position should an opening present itself. Rob Swan had fallen rapidly from 4th to 9th and his battle for a podium finish was over as he sat well over 4 minutes behind the rally leader. After 23 stages, Kevin Proctor was 6th overall and 3rd in WRC1. Coming in hot was Stuart Tomlinson, maybe a bit too hot. The Englishman flew past the turn and down the exit road. Who's next? Hugh P. Whoa, he too is caught out and flies past the turn. Peter Gallagher finished 2nd and Clubman 1 in his Peugeot. Just outside the top 5 in Super Modified 2 was Damien Hagan, who finished 19th overall with a little bit of flair to it. Okay, time to check back at the Bushy Park Triangle now. Will Dick Major make the turn? Almost. He was 10th in Super Modified 2. William and Garrett Parry finished 11th in Super Modified 2. The rear-wheel drive Ford Escort Mark II seemingly loved this series of turns outside Bushy Park, and Sean Kukala lets the back hang out just a bit too much. Finishing 7th in Super Modified 2 was Edna McCormack. Jermaine Pope won the Clubman 1 class by over 6 minutes. Jamal Brathwaite was the winner of Modified 2 by over 3 minutes and was 13th overall. Jonathan Ince was 4th in Super Modified 3 and just outside the top 30. Marcel Freeling and Kieran Robinson were winners of the modified class. Winner of the historic Class 1 was Russell Roberts. A problem on day 2 saw them drop loads of time, but the all-female crew of Shelley Taunt and Julie Murphy managed to finish 4th in Group N. Barry Mears was on fire in the Sunday Cup. Being forced to miss the later stages on day 2, his crew had him in racing shape for the Sunday stages and he did not disappoint them. Even though he spun on this turn. The spectacular Mark Kinch was 4th in the Sunday Cup. He kept the car sideways and the crowd cheering. Steve Finch was 13th in Super Modified 2 but failed to make this turn, nearly damaging the Ford Escort Mark II.
National flag narrowly aimed out of the window. Are we going to have
Scotland's Alan McKay was 7th in the Sunday Cup, and here his local co-driver Andrew Croney lets the flag fly. Alan Kinch was 9th in the Sunday Cup. Simon and Robert Nutter were 10th in the Sunday Cup in their Skoda Fabia. Sharif Walcott seemed to be on a charge. He was also competing in the Sunday Cup.
Motorsport escort Mark
Wales Garrett Richards was 5th in the Sunday Cup, and not even this spin could take away his position. Jeremy Gonzalez had a disappointing end, and he misses stages 21 and 22. Talk about laying down the power. Nothing but rubber is laid down as Barry McKenna accelerates out of this turn. Paul Linus won Clubman 2 in his Honda Civic. Third in Clubman 1 was Trevor Mack. Turks and Caicos Stan Hartling was having his share of problems on the final day, missing 3 stages as a result. Martinique's Pascal Calvel was 3rd in Modified 1 in his Citroën C2 R2 Max. The rally ended at the Vaucluse Raceway, and all the crews had to do to be classified as a finisher was to start the stage, as the times did not count to the overall. Thousands of fans gathered for the final show, and competitors got to show off their flags as well as relax after a grueling 3-day rally. Similar to the start, the end saw the cars paired to tackle the figure-8 course. Chris Elliott was paired with Andrew Costin Hurley, who was making sure the cones got a piece of the action as well. Seems his Puma doesn't like to go where he tells it to. Andrew Jones trailing Dane Skeet, but who's looking to win? It's much more fun playing with the cones. Elfyn Evans looking on at the action. I wonder what he's planning. Roger Hill and Neil Corbin. Will this be an upset? Corbin is leading heading into the hairpin, but the Toyota Corolla of Roger Hill comes out on top. While this pairing looks vaguely familiar, Roger Mears and Josh Reed. Wait, some rain is added to the mix, and what do you get? Slideways. It didn't take long for Will's Elfyn Evans to get into the swing of things. One donut here. Wait, how about here as well? Let's not leave out anyone, as he ensured every fan at all corners of the Vaucluse Raceway got a taste of the donuts he had to offer. The last 2 pairings of the overall finishers were Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton and Barbados' Roger Skeet. In a hair-raising performance, Roger Mears and Sean Corbin finished 4th overall and 1st in Super Modified 2 in their Toyota Starlet. Elfyn Evans and Craig Perry had to settle for 3rd place. After the final day, they were 13 seconds off the second place crew and about 58 seconds behind the winner. Roger Skeet and Louis Venetia won 8 of the 9 stages on the final day as they moved into second place and held it. The winners of SOL Rally Barbados 2016 for the second year in a row were Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton and Michael Fennell Jr. in the Ford Focus WRC. The margin of victory was an impressive 45.3 seconds, as their total elapsed time was 1 hour, 3 minutes, 59.55 seconds. Congratulations!